Welcome back to the Prison Stories YouTube channel. This is a brand new channel. If you enjoy anything you see here, I would greatly appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. Today is our first Prison Stories video. This story will cover when I was punched in the face by an inmate during a cell search. Let's get right into it. So a little backstory on this incident, you could say. I have been working a gang unit for multiple years now. Inmates in gangs aren't exactly afraid of catching new charges a lot of times. So something you got to keep in mind when you're working a gang unit is they are not afraid to stand up to you. They are not afraid to get in your face. They're not afraid to try and get by you in any way possible. So to get right into the story, just like most nights, me and my crew at the time, this probably happened about a year and a half ago or so. My crew at the time, we always searched cells together, all of us. We didn't do them separately. We always made sure to search cells together, which really paid off for us this night. So I work night shift. I've worked a night shift my entire time working at the prison. So we walk up to the cell and so one of my partners, he was a police officer on the street for multiple years. He had been in many different roles in law enforcement. He had a lot more experience than myself or our other partner. So he always took lead when it came to cell searches. Typically, not always, I shouldn't say always, typically would. He had a really good eye for watching things. He had a very good command presence. And when he was handling inmates or pretty much anyone, honestly, he had a very good way of gaining control over any situation. When he's there, he has control. We go up to the cell and we open the cell door. I can't remember if the inmates were supposed to be locked down for the night. I don't remember. Basically, we go up and there's two inmates in the cell, and these two inmates are both Bloods. So they're gang members. Anytime my partner goes to search a cell, he's very clear. Stand up, do not grab anything. Step out of the cell and keep your hands where I can see them. Inmate number one, he does exactly as my partner says. He has no aggression to him or sign of retaliation against us, I guess you could say, or resistance. Inmate number two, on the other hand, he is a different story. So inmate number two, so he has drugs on him, and he does not want us to find the drugs. He starts digging into his prison coat. And it's the way in our inmates they'll wrap up the coats into like this, like almost like a cone. It's really hard to explain. It's really weird. Basically just like a sleeve, and the whole coat's wrapped up in it. He starts digging down into the coat, right? And the drugs must have been dug pretty deep into the coat. I don't know. He starts digging in. He turns his back to my partner, and immediately my partner does not like that. He immediately starts giving the inmate commands pretty aggressively. Show me your hands. Stop digging into the coat. I can't remember exactly what he said. Don't quote me on what he's saying. But basically, show me your hands. Stop digging into the jacket. Giving like any commands that you should be giving as law enforcement. And the inmate is completely ignoring every command given to him. I'm actually searching the inmate's shoes at the time. Inmate number one is just standing off to the side. He's not getting involved. My partner, my other partner, officer number three, he's staying off to the side. It's a narrow cell doorway. So there's not really room for all of us to be in the doorway. And typically you don't need all three of us, but we're just there because we have each other's back. I'm searching the inmate's shoes that they're going to bring out of the cell. Whatever they bring out, I search while the lead officer gives commands and observes. I'm searching those shoes, and one of my favorite things I've learned from working in a prison is knowing what's going to happen before it happens. Learning body language, learning verbal language, if you know what I mean. Basically being able to, whatever the inmate's saying, I can tell what they're thinking, and I know where their mind's at based on the way they talk and what they're saying. I immediately hear, out of my tunnel, not my tunnel, I'm looking down, but up here, I can see the inmate's back to us. But I know if he's not worried about it, I'm not worried about it. I keep searching the shoes. Then I hear the lead officer's voice start really getting loud. Give me your hands. And he goes into the cell. I throw the shoes down. I know it's about to go down. The lead officer puts his arms around the inmate from behind and grabs his arms and tries to pull him around to his back to get his hands where he can see him, where he can control them and prevent the situation from escalating. Well, immediately I go in there. I try and grab his right arm. I get a hold of his right arm. He knows that I don't know if he truly meant to. I don't think I don't think he really meant to. I think it was an in the moment thing. He was resisting and he was just doing what he does natural. Honestly, this guy is, if I'm being honest, he's a natural criminal. He just has that mindset of disobeying and not following orders, disrespect for authority, and he's just doing what he does. And so he starts just resisting, trying to pull away, and he doesn't actually punch me in the face, not with his fist, but he comes back around and elbows me right in the face. But my adrenaline's rushing like hardcore, so I don't really feel it. And then I have complete hold of his right arm, and his arms, this dude, he works out all day. He's in prison, so he's there for a long time. He's not there for a couple months. He's there for a while, and he's working out every day. And knowing this inmate's attitude, he probably takes food from other inmates. He probably eats a ton. He just lifts my ass up with his arm and just like throws me against the wall. I don't really feel it because, again, my adrenaline's rushing like all hell. And at that point, the lead officer has enough of it. And this is all in like 5-6 seconds. I think I have the footage of it, but I obviously can't just put it on the internet. Maybe one day if I get authorization, I'll put it on the channel, but I highly doubt that'll ever happen. But I believe it was 7 seconds for the whole thing to go down. A lot happened in 7 seconds, but he has enough of it. He picks the inmate up, and I'm just assisting. I have hold of him still. I just want to have control over an arm at least. Because we also had officer number 3 who was trying to help, but that little narrow space, he couldn't really do much until we got him out of the cell. So he's trying to get a hold of something on the inmate. I don't know. Probably his left arm, because I know when we came out of the cell, he had control of his left arm. The lead officer picks his ass up, carries them through the doorway. All three of us, so at that point, officer number 3 has his left arm, I have his right arm, and lead officer just has a bear hug around him. And we just dump his ass on the ground. We actually, when I'm watching the footage, I slammed myself on the ground. We dumped him so quick and so smoothly, honestly, that we dumped ourselves on the ground. I just went to a straight prone position, essentially. And we all, I don't do shit. I keep control of that right arm. My lead officer's on top of him, like on top of his legs, and he's holding, I guess, around his lower back, just making sure he doesn't move. And I'm sitting there, and we have all the inmates in this section are out. Every inmate's out. So I'm also we're trying to like make sure none of the other gang members are getting involved. The Bloods, when you look on the cameras, they were pretty close to getting involved, but they decided to stay back. And so we're giving orders to all the other inmates to rack in. That's the term we use for get the fuck in your cell. So we get other responders there immediately, which is, I'm honestly glad that the lead officer was there. He's been through a lot more uses of force. This was probably one of my, I don't know, first few. This wasn't my first one, but it was close. Usually I try and stick to, if I can work it out verbally, any situation, that's always best, no matter what. It's not worth getting hurt. No, inmate, officer, if you can avoid anyone getting hurt, that's always the best way to do it, which is what I try to do. So this was only maybe my 3rd or 4th use of force at the time. So we get other responders there. The lead officer, he's been through this so many times. He has a lot less tunnel vision. My tunnel vision was on keeping that arm controlled and all the other inmates. And if I'm pretty certain, the officer number 3, all he was worried about was the arm he had control of and the other inmates as well. Especially officer number 3 had his back to the rest of the entire section. I didn't really have people behind me because we were in the corner of the section almost. But officer number 3, he had the whole section behind him. So he was probably shitting bricks. Like, we got, 40 other inmates behind me. So the lead officer's like, we need search him. We search his waistband because they usually have bangers or shanks or whatever the fuck they want to call them in their waistband. Search them, puts his hands behind him and cuffs him. But honestly, I wasn't thinking about that. All I was worried about was his arm and the other inmates. Luckily, he took control and commands like, get his arms behind his back, so search him, get his arms behind his back, cuff him. And we did. And we went out of there just smooth as day. We had about 10 other officers respond, if not more. I know there was a lot. I'd have to look at the video to actually count how many there were. And it was actually funny as hell when we're walking him out of the section. He was braiding his hair. So half of his head was his big ass poof ball. The other half was braids. It was funny as fuck. Obviously, he was escorted to Max that night. And I actually think that dude's been in Max ever since. It was definitely a very educational experience for me because I've never been assaulted. I've had very close occasions. There's one occasion where two Crips rushed me and my partner. No, one Crip rushed me and my partner in a cell and cornered us. His friend stayed out of the cell. But that was a whole nother situation that I'll definitely make a video on. It was a very good situation for me to experience. While uses of force are not fun, and they're not preferred, if you don't go through it, you don't know how to handle yourself the next time you go through it. Training, you can train all day, but until you're put in the situation, you never really know how you're going to handle it. And I realized that I had a lot of tunnel vision that day. There's a lot that I probably could have jumped on sooner, like searching and cuffing, restraining. But I didn't. So we go to the day room afterwards to make sure everyone's good. And my jaw's vibrating. I don't feel any pain. My jaw's just vibrating from when he punched me in the face. And then back to how we kind of like slammed ourselves on the ground. My knee hurt. And I was like, man, what did I do to my knee? Watching back on the video, I slammed my knee on the ground, but I was so focused on the inmate and the instant of time, I had no idea. It's crazy how that works. But that about wraps it up for this story time video. I wanna get these out fairly quickly. Like I said, if you watch the Welcome to the Prison Stories YouTube channel video, that should be at the home of the YouTube channel. It should be right up top. I want to have some guests, whether I work with them or I don't work with them. I want to have plenty of guests to share their stories. I hope you enjoyed it. Like this video, comment if you'd like, subscribe to the channel, and let's see what we can do with this channel. I want to get a lot of videos out. I want to get a lot of interactivity. Yeah, any questions you may have regarding prison, leave them below, and we'll do Q&A videos. And I'll try and respond to everyone in the comments. And subscribe to my main YouTube channel, Abaddon XS. It's my gaming channel. I'll put my Twitter and everything else in the description. And yeah, I hope to see you guys later. That should be it. I'm probably gonna forget something. I bet you I'm gonna forget something. It's 6 in the morning. I haven't been to bed yet, but you know, I'm gonna put it up and I'm gonna edit it, and then I'm gonna remember if I missed anything, and then I'm just gonna have to fucking deal with it. Yeah.